What caught my attention, I'm just going to jump right in, was a clip I saw of you on X informing President Trump on the work you're doing to uncover who is behind some of the chaos, if not all of the chaos. I'm going to ask you all those questions on the streets. Waymo's on fire, cinder blocks getting thrown on cop cars, the same tent popped up across all college campuses. So first question is, what made you look into this? You are the guy. You have the answers. Why this? How did you get focused on it?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I work with a guy, Peter Schweitzer. I think you know him. He is the expert on following the money, taught me everything I know. And so we follow the money. And so when you look at these violent events, the Waymo's on fire, the anti-ICE chaos that's going on, we always wonder who's funding this. And so we followed the money all the way to the top of what we're calling the protest industrial complex, Riot Inc. And yes, of course, Antifa is part of this network. It's the boots on the ground, the paramilitary arm. But what we found is there's an entire ecosystem of NGOs and nonprofits, legal bail funds, all kinds of things that enable this chaos, things that get the protesters back onto the streets, the rioters back onto the streets as quickly as possible. We found over $100 million coming from the very top. So yes, of course, Soros and the Open Society foundations, but also other networks, lesser known names like the Tides Network, Tides Foundation, Tides Center. And then there's the Arabella Funding Network. They pour $79 million into what we're calling Riot Inc. And so we've got a lot more names, probably too many to list on this show.
No, I want to dig through this, period. I want to dig through it. I have tried to get to the bottom of it, but the web is so tangled. It's all of the villains from the frickin' Marvel comic book in one movie. That's literally what I feel like I'm seeing here. So let's start from the top. Okay. Foreign governments. What foreign governments are involved? How are they involved? How are they funding this? Let's start there, because I know you found links to the CCP here, right?
Yeah. So Neville Roy Singham is the most insidious actor in the protest industrial complex. Now, we're not sure that his money comes from the CCP, but we do have a number of other groups that are actually direct CCP front organizations. But just focusing on Singham for a second, Peter Schweitzer really exposed him fully in his book, Blood Money, all about how Singham has been funding things like Black Lives Matter riots, all the ones that turn violent, it would seem. The pro-Hamas demonstrations in New York after October 7th, Singham behind that. And then, of course, the more recent anti-ICE demonstrations. He's a funder of Churla and other groups that were, earlier this year out in Los Angeles. But more recent events. In fact, even after the Charlie Kirk assassination is really when we decided to pour a ton of effort into this, because we thought, even if it's the lone gunman, the crazed gunman, Tyler Robinson, there are so many people celebrating this. And we looked into the No Kings, parades or protests. But one group that we were looking at after the Kirk assassination called Armed Queers of Salt Lake City. It was reported in the New York Post that the FBI would be investigating this group. I want to be clear right now that there are no confirmed ties to Tyler Robinson or the Kirk assassination. But nonetheless, we dug into this group and found that just earlier this year, they had gone on a junket down to Havana, Cuba, funded by groups tied to Singham and to an event that Singham is totally behind down in Cuba, a Marxist revolutionary training event. It was in May. Before they scrubbed their social media, we got all the Armed Queers of Salt Lake City videos from the event. We've posted online, and it just kind of struck us as really dark and insidious that this Shanghai-based, funder of riots, Neville Roy Singham, is also bringing American groups down to Cuba to get radicalized.